I was speaking at a futurist conference in Dubai a week or so ago, and I was asked a question during the conference about, what's really going to happen in the future, and it was in relation to AI, but I think it applies more broadly. And what I'm seeing, I spend a lot of time in the R&D labs with big companies doing AI, and in particular in a few of the industries that I think are more interesting, certainly to me, but relevant to humanity into the future. And I said words to the effect of, it's a bit like the Hollywood movie where everyone's standing on the beach and there's a really, 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 really big wave in the distance, and it's rolling in, and people are standing on the beach, and you'll know the trope, the sort of Hollywood shtick, and people say, "Oh, look, that looks like a really big wave. Is that coming towards us? Oh, it might be, but it's a sunny day, and oh, catch the ball." All these other things are going on, and the wave's getting closer and closer, and hey, honey, do you think we should cut and run? Oh, we'll be okay. It's probably not that big. It just, it gets closer and closer. And by the time they realize it's a tsunami, and it's going to be a complete wipeout, and people turn around and start to run, it's too late. And the people who realized when they saw the really, really, really big wave in the distance, which is a small fraction of people, they've been cutting and running, 20 minutes ago, and they're already 3 hills beyond, and they're safe. And I think this goes through my mind often, because it's the compression. Somebody was talking to me about technology, and after the conference, and it was a professional in their 20s, and they were very smart and very capable in terms of what they're doing, but they were asking me about fax machines. And so I started to explain that when you think about technology and the evolution of technology, when I was growing up, I can remember before we had microwaves and before we had fax machines, let alone really the adoption of the computer, certainly the internet. I can remember being at my desk and hearing there's a thing called email, and trialing that out for the very first time. And but the point I was making is that these innovations happened in a temporal sense. They happened with big gaps in between. So you would have time to absorb the innovation and the technology and incorporate it into your life, and then have time to think about, oh, that was great, what's next? And then incorporate that. These days, it's so compressed and everything is happening and changing so quickly. Most people don't have the time to do that.
Yeah.
This is what I do full time. And a lot of days I despair at the notion that I'm falling behind. I'm really falling behind. I've got a stack of AI and crypto related stuff that I need to know yesterday, and yesterday is behind me, let alone what I need to know now. Yeah. And I think that's a huge challenge for all of us.
Yeah.
And people really, in terms of, particularly if you have kids, you need to think about this in terms of your children, in terms of educating them and directing them, or guiding them at least, in terms of what life is going to be like in 10 and 20 years.